And each one of us is the light. So let's close our eyes and remember that. And see in this moment of now, which is all each of us has, because every moment is a moment of now, where the first step of affirmative prayer is to say and understand and know that God is all there is. I do know God is all there is. I know that that's exactly what's happening in this moment, uniting each one of us. Now that's the unity consciousness within each one of us personally, and then collectively. That 1 + 1 is indeed 11. And we are here expressing that, being that, knowing that, understanding that, right here in this beautiful sanctuary at this beautiful time that we are having our Sunday service. So I know the service talk for Sunday by Reverend Leora Nash. She is exactly this being. I know her personally and professionally. She is that. And I know that she is this vessel receiving exactly what each one of us needs and desires to know that we know to further our own lives individually and collectively. So I'm here also appreciating all the work that is really done with the intention of fun. And that's how it comes across, doesn't it? And we're so fortunate to have Adrian, our practitioner Adrian, who is so versed in doing so many fabulous things, audio-wise, visual-wise, and otherwise. So I know each one of us is so happy to be here where we are, ready to experience and being in this moment of now. So yes, you and I can affirm and aver by saying, and so it is.
At Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont, we believe in spiritual living. Above all else, it is a philosophy that teaches us how to think and not what to think. We invite everyone to practice this philosophy by living in principle. We believe that God is all there is, and each person's relationship to God is a personal one. Every person, place, and thing, and all the space in between is not only an expression of God, but God itself. All love, peace, and beauty that is God exists within each person right now. Together we are all connected as one. Our faith allows us to apply this philosophy to our lives in every moment of every day. As we live in love, we see love revealed and flowing through the world around us. We act as citizens of this spiritual community at all times. This is how we think. We believe in God, we believe in ourselves, and we believe in you, because we believe in spiritual living. We are the Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont.
Good morning again. Just such a beautiful, inspirational beginning for this day. As we move into just the holiday spirit, it's just kind of nice to have that quieting of spirit and soul within ourselves so that we truly understand what it is that this whole time of celebration is all about. So as I mentioned earlier, that I'm going to just invite us to go through a little bit of depth in terms of what this holiday celebration is all about. So I'm calling the month Celebrating High Joy. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the joy of living every day, but it's the joy of recognizing the truth of what life is and how life continues to unfold with all its darkness and all of its light. So we're going to turn to that light, knowing that within the light there's always darkness, and darkness is always a part of the light. But we do not pay attention to the darkness because it's temporary. So we're going to move into the light. So there's a call to worship today that I'd like to share with you, and it's rejoice for God is with us. Emmanuel. In the darkness of our world shines God's holy light. Now there is a reason to hope, to love, to laugh, to live, for God is truly with us. So this is the premise by which it is that we begin this holy time. Today is Sunday, December 5th, and it honors the celebration of Hanukkah. Now on the seventh day of the traditional 8-day celebration. Within the Jewish faith tradition, Hanukkah is known as Festival of Lights. And a menorah, which we have here, holds 8 candles commemorating the rededication of the Second Temple of Jerusalem. And a candle is lit each of the 8 days, reflective of a specific prayer each day. So today we're going to light the 7 candles, honoring the Festival of Lights, and leaving the last candle, which is tomorrow. It will be lit at my home for the 8th day. And it's significant because we're going to light the blue candle first, which is in the center, and then we're going to light the candles from right to left. And today, I believe it's going to be Yvonne, excuse me, to assist us with that. So as the first candle is lit, I want to share with you a prayer commemorating the Festival of Lights. Yvonne, you want to come up? And she's going to light that candle, and I have water in the back. If anybody's concerned as to live fire, we're totally taken care of here. Yeah, and you can take it out. So, yeah, and then you just light each of the candles with that blue candle. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, all but the 7th, or the 8th one, rather, sorry. And that's a traditional celebration that's done in many Jewish homes. Yeah. So we're just going to allow those lights to be a part of our celebration this morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the prayer goes like this. Blessed are you, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy through your commandments and commands us to light the Hanukkah lights. And I want to give you a little bit of background as to what that means in terms of Hanukkah. And maybe some of you may already know, but it's kind of nice to refresh. In commemoration of this high joy celebration, Hanukkah is the Yiddish word that describes a particular celebration. And at the end of today's service, I have a gelt for each of you, a Hanukkah gelt, that I think Corliss is going to pass around, as well as an affirmation card that I had the honor and pleasure of studying for many years with a wonderful, powerful gentleman who has been a part of was United Centers for Spiritual Living, Dr. Barry Harriman, who made his transition not too long ago, but shared with us a beautiful poem, a writing, and I wanted to share that with you today as well. So Corliss will be sharing that with you. But the gelt is a gold coin like this, and it's chocolate, so you have the delight of having something wonderful inside to participate. And I brought quite a few, so maybe you can each take 2. It'll be enough to show the prosperity of the sharing. So back to Hanukkah, just kind of understanding that Hanukkah is a time of celebration and joy that was certainly experienced BC, before Christ. So in terms of looking at how it is that I'm kind of away from doing all the celebration of what Christmas seems to represent in terms of gift giving, I tend to go deeply into the source of where holiday celebration is all about, and that's about simply the spiritual enlivenment of the light that is within us. Because no matter the tradition of people, I think as since humans have ever been, that there's always been darkness. We've always had to challenge through some level of darkness. And we can look at that collectively as people, or we can begin to narrow it to look at our own individual lives and reflect on the different points and times of our own personal darkness. And yet we have awakened every day. And we need to give thanks to that. We need to acknowledge, yes, I've been oppressed, but today my eyes are open. There's light, and I can see that. And that's what motivates me. So that is for me, the aspect of what we hold on to in terms of celebration today through this month. So with that, there's another aspect of the Christian tradition, which is called the time of Advent. And so we need to understand what that is all about in terms of coming together as a community, especially here at CSL Beaumont. So I want to explain to you a little bit about what Advent means. And it serves as an anticipation of Christ's birth in the season leading up to Christmas. That's only part of the story. So we have this deeper understanding of the Hanukkah, the menorah, and we're moving into the wreath of Advent, which lasts 4 days. And symbolically, the two holidays began last Sunday, which is kind of unusual for them to both begin at the same time. Usually Advent starts 4 Sundays prior to Christmas, so that meant it began last Sunday. So it's why we're fusing the two together. So the celebration of Advent is possible only to those who are troubled in soul, who know themselves to be pure and imperfect, and who look forward to something greater to come. And that's by Dietrich Bonhoeffer. That was his philosophy. And I'm going to ask Yvonne to come up and light, it's Corliss. Corliss is going to turn the 2 Advent candles on. Yeah. And what she is turning on is, they should just turn it till it, yeah. Oh, the other one, turn the other one off. The last one, yeah. In each week, oh, that's right, we have 2. Yeah, last week and this week. So we have hope and love for this week. So it's hope, love, joy, and peace. So the last Sunday, which is the Sunday prior to Christmas, we'll be celebrating peace. And we'll look at a generalizing or generality of what peace truly is. And that is what the holiday season is truly all about, is bringing us to that point in acceptance of peace. So for many of us that are unfamiliar with the liturgical calendar, there may be of some confusion surrounding the meaning of the Advent season. Some people may know that the Advent season focuses on expectation and think that it serves an anticipation of Christ's birth in the season leading up to Christmas. This is part of the story, but there's more to Advent, as I said earlier. The word Advent is derived from the Latin word adventus, meaning coming. It means coming. Boy, that's really popping. It means coming, which is a translation of the Greek word parousia. Scholars believe that during the 4th and 5th centuries in Spain and Gaul, Advent was a season of preparation for the baptism of new Christians at the January feast of Epiphany, the celebration of God's incarnation represented by the visit of the Magi to the baby Jesus. And that's out of Matthew 2:1. His baptism in the Jordan River by John the Baptist in John 1:22, and his first miracle at Cana, written about in John 2:1. During the season of preparation, Christian would spend 40 days in penance, prayer, and fasting to prepare for this celebration. Originally, there was little connection between Advent and Christmas, which is kind of interesting because we just kind of take that for granted that it always has been. By the 6th century, however, Roman Christians had tied Advent to the coming of Christ. So you can see that there's a progression. Life has been happening a long time. But the coming they had in mind was not Christ's first coming in the manger in Bethlehem, but his second coming in the clouds as the judge of the world. It was not until the Middle Ages that the Advent season was explicitly linked to Christ's first coming at Christmas. I found that kind of interesting in terms of a historical profile. So today, our dates for 2021, the season of Advent lasts for 4 Sundays, as I said earlier, leading up to Christmas. Advent begins on the Sunday that follows between November 27th and December 3rd each year. Advent this year began Sunday, November 28th, and ends Friday, December 24th. So collectively, the main idea behind the candles is to designate the 4 weeks as the progression sense of expectation, anticipation of increase of light. And we find, I think it's rather interesting that we find that during December is the darkest time of the year. We look at the winter solstice, and natural light is diminished, but yet there's a light within us that's full of joy that comes from us, and is that dark time that we celebrate the joy of exchange of gift giving and good food and wine and all of that kind of good thing that we celebrate, the joy of Christmas. So it's kind of interesting in terms of the dichotomy. So ultimately, the season of Advent is the central idea of the coming of Christ, remembering his birth and the idea that Jesus is the light. His return is celebrated during the Easter season. So it gives you some correlation as to the significance of who the man Jesus was symbolically. So ultimately, the season of Advent is the central idea of the coming of Christ, remembering his birth and the idea that Jesus is the light. So we will look forward to the Easter time in terms of, certainly we know what all of that sorrow and suffering is all about, but it kind of gives you an idea, for me personally, from a spiritual perspective, that we need not get stuck or confined into the darkness and the terrors of our individual lives, that there's always the power of the light that is greater than all that we can ever experience, and that the symbolism of what Jesus went through during that time of Easter celebration is just an overview, an embellishment of our sorrows. But the joy is that he's freed, that there's that day of resurrection, and that resurrection is within us all of the time when we remember that we are that light, when we begin to express through and see through our own darkness of our own individual experiences of each and every day. We are not limited other than what it is that we feel, sense, and feel. We have to remember that the truth of who it is that we are. So we are to be that source of a light, of light. We are a source of light, and that's what we have to assume. So say that with me. I am a source of light. And sometimes when you're in that horrible place, when you feel like the walls are closing in and something's coming down on you and the floor is coming up, and all of a sudden you're squeezed into this very tight spot, just make that declaration. We talk about meditation. We talk about the breath. We talk about being able to go within and to just connect with that inner source. That's what it is. That inner source is that internal light that embodies each and every one of us. Need not give power to anything greater than who and what we are. We have to know that we are a light. That is tiring. Be aware of self-awareness. It is realizing there is no opponent. You're fighting against yourself. Sometimes saying goodbye doesn't mean you don't love something. It just means you love yourself too. That lesson will repeat itself until you learn it. if you keep one hand in your past and one hand on your future, you will never have either. To embrace tomorrow, you must let go of yesterday. You must let go of yesterday. The world starts and ends entirely inside our mind. No matter where we wind up, no matter how rich or successful one becomes, you won't enjoy any of it if you get there at the expense of your mental health. So let's awaken and open our eyes and realize these are some of the scriptings that are so significant within ourselves. That as we affirm and believe that we are a light, that we recognize that we are that source. We are connected to the source, the empowerment of what God is. We are that. So in doing so, let us remind ourselves that the 2021 CSL Global theme is timeless wisdom, evolutionary vision, expressed within the global vision. And it says, we see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with his or her highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. That is so true. When it is that we hear it and feel it and take the action, the confidence, the truth to align ourselves with that absolute truth, we take our first step. We take our first step into the light. When it is that we let go of the darkness, when it is that we transform and we climb down off our cross. We climb down off of our cross. And it's called loving yourself enough to follow the light, to be the light. You're not going to fade away. It just simply means that you've made a choice that represents who and what it is that you are to be, and trusting in the moment. Tomorrow is yet to be lived, but the reason why I brought up the issue of Hanukkah, the issue of the Advent, is to recognize the history by which this moment has brought us, you and I, into being. We just didn't fall off the turnip truck. So we need not feel as if the world is against us. We have life behind us. We can look at the darkness, the scourge, the sorrows, all of yesterday, the individual persons represented through our lives, through our own family history, through cultures. We can begin to look at those individualized struggles and then say, this is me. Who am I today as a result of what has been? Do I stand in yesterday, or do I stand in this new day? Do I stand as a single light, ready to move forward, regardless of what darkness comes before me? I always know that I am a light. I am that source. I am connected with that source of all of life itself. And I can move forward, and I do move forward. That's the sense of who it is that we are. So the heart of the human being opens, and we learn to see the eye of the heart. And we listen with the ear of the heart. This is something we have forgotten. It is a great mystery of being human, how our hearts can be opened. We hold the key. And Ernest Holmes writes something that I found really interesting on page 477, second paragraph. He says, our mind should swing from inspiration to action, from contemplation to accomplishment, from prayer to performance. This would be a well-balanced existence. Powerful preparation of how to live. Because there's so many times we can feel imbalanced. We can feel imbalanced. And as Mr. Smith was saying earlier, the power and the authority of Science of Mind teachings that have made such a powerful impact in his life. Holding on to what it is that is true for you. For each of us finds that truth, and we align with it, we connect with it, but don't set it aside and pick it up only at holiday time. Celebrate it every day in your life. Every day of your life. Let us be present. Practice the principles of oneness, love, and creation coming, as this season of Advent lifts us in high joy, as well experiencing a prospering Hanukkah, living timeless wisdom of oneness, love, and creation, becoming aware of and experiencing the one infinite reality. Oneness is real. Oneness is real. So let us live in faith, surrender to one's own divinity. Have you established a divinity for yourself? Do you have a truth principle that works for you? It's a matter of lighting the match, lighting that light within, declaring, I am the light. I am the light of the world. Let us live in faith, surrender to one's own divinity, walk by faith, not by sight. And I think that's a biblical quote. Be still and know. Be infused with compassion. And by Jiminy, let your light shine. Let your light shine. Remember to celebrate. You are a source of light. Be it. Celebrate you. For you are truly high joy. And I want you to say that with me. I am high joy. And do you believe that? Can you feel that in your fiber of your being? That you are that light that is filled with high joy? Yeah. And when it is that you're feeling as if there's something that's constraining you or just, doggone it, just plain hurting you, it just hurts to make a decision sometimes. Someone perhaps has said something that crosses our grain, that they don't see our truth. But that's their vision. We have to know the truth of who we are and know the light of yourself. It only affects you if you accept it. If you accept it. So by knowing the truth and declaring unto yourself that issue, that belief, that attitude, that I celebrate the light that is me, the eternal oneness of the light of God is never out, but I turn it up. Ooh, my candles are running everywhere. But that we turn on that light. Oh, wow, our peace light just came on. But I'm going to ask Corliss to hand out this reading to you, and then we're going to read it together, and as well to please take at least 2 of the gelts and realize that that's part of the Hanukkah celebration. That's part of, Yvonne, would you maybe take the basket? Yvonne, right there. Yeah, she didn't get the gelt. Take at least a couple of them so that you know that's part of your prosperity consciousness. And enjoy the chocolate inside. Enjoy the chocolate. So once we have everybody distributed, we're going to read these together. It's just kind of fun to have something delightful to celebrate this time of the year. And I thought it was kind of interesting from the standpoint of the gelts are wrapped in solid gold paper. They're so lovely and beautiful, but yet on the inside there's a sweetness. So however it is that you're wrapped, you're sweet on the inside. So never forget that. So we have everybody. I'll wait till Yvonne gets through with the gelts. Isn't this kind of fun? Oh, I thought I turned off my phone, sorry. Yeah, oh golly. It's been a month of time. It'll go off in a second here. Did you get a gelt? Yes, okay. So if we're ready, let's read this together. And this is something that you can hold on to and affirm daily. So let's read it together. Take time each day to embrace the beauty in nature and all that surrounds you. Acknowledge the depth to which you have experienced concrete spiritual awakenings throughout your life once a day. Express love and compassion to one or more of your family, friends, colleagues each day. They are such a blessing. Acknowledge the extent to which you have been contributed to by your family, friends, colleagues. They are your wisdom figures. Each day, listen to at least one major spiritual teacher. And you know, that spiritual teacher may be a 2-year-old. That spiritual teacher may be a bird singing out on a limb. That spiritual teacher may be a hummingbird going and looking for nectar out of a flower. So look around you, within your world, your environment, and give thanks and praise and celebrate the joy of life. For now I see. For now I see. And we can listen. We can listen to our own heart rate. If you need to, put your hand on your heart to get in touch with the vitality, the vibrancy that you're alive. That is what we celebrate. That is what we celebrate. And then be that person that goes out and shops till you drop or whatever. But be connected to your soul. Be connected to that inner essence of the depth of who you are. Got it? Got it. Wonderful. So let's just close our eyes now and just move into that deeper essence of truth. Yeah, we can just close. Thank you. Thank you. And let's just turn into that deeper essence of our truth. Perhaps there's a light within you that has been inspired, a circumstance by which it is that you're dealing with or have been dealing with, and I say have been because you've let it go. The power of surrender, the power of forgiveness, the power that is ever present in the right here, be here now, without judgment, without consternation, without pain and sorrow, without high joy, just this simple essence of being, undefined. That is the moment of celebration. That is the livingness of who each one of us is. When the physical, the mental connects, we know joy. When the mental infuses itself with the light of knowing that all is well, that taps out the darkness, that plugs up the holes so darkness can no longer infiltrate. To just turning to the power within and just being in that momentary space. And sometimes that's all we have, is that momentary shutdown of being in the light. As we move forward, and we're always moving forward, there is something that transpires and goes with us, and it is the light that goes before us, penetrating and pushing through any darkness that may appear. So as we think smoothly, effortlessly, surrendering into the power and the authority of God itself, we lift up our eyes. We lift in confidence. We lift in encouragement. And we lift into that power and the authority of God. I am that I am is you. So we surrender ourselves and allow ourselves to become imbued in this glorious gift of celebration of light. The light that indwells, the light that carries us through each and every day. The light that we celebrate at the end of the day, that we give thanks for its significance, for yet we have lived through another day. So giving thanks for this time, this celebration of light, giving thanks for the lessons that Hanukkah has brought us, for the historical profile of what truth and faith is truly all about. Giving thanks for the Advent, for the lighting of 4 candles to symbolize love, hope, joy, and peace. That all of that is who and what it is that we live and breathe within experience. So we accept this truth as our individualized selves. And we honor the light that is who we are. And we celebrate in joy, in fulfillment, a greater yet to be. For as we each have affirmed, for now we see and now we know there is one life living. That life is God. That life is my life now. And in knowing this, we just simply affirm together, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you for joining us for our Sunday service. Please remember to like, comment, and share this video on Facebook, YouTube, and any other social media you are a member of. To donate to CSL Beaumont, you can text GIVE to 951-420-6909, or you can visit our website at cslbeaumont.org and click the donate button at the top or bottom of the page. You can also mail your donation to CSL Beaumont, 802 Maple Avenue, Beaumont, California, 92223. Have a blessed day, and namaste.